Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday, presented by the University of Arizona Health Sciences. I'm Caroline Berger, Director of Corporate and Community Relations for University of Arizona Health Sciences in Phoenix, and I'd like to introduce my colleagues. We are a brand new team here at the university, led by Allison Otu, our Executive Director, and Anne-Marie Medina, who is our Director in Tucson. We're so happy that you're joining us for this noontime respite. If you're not familiar, I'd like to introduce you to University of Arizona Health Sciences. We are the statewide leader in biomedical research and health professions training. Health Sciences includes the colleges of medicine in Tucson and Phoenix, as well as nursing, pharmacy, and the Mel and Enid Zuckerman College of Public Health. We have a main campus in Tucson that you may be familiar with, but we also have a growing campus, the biomedical campus in downtown Phoenix, that we're very proud of. As you can imagine, Health Sciences reaches across the state and also across the Southwest to provide cutting-edge health education, research, and community outreach services. We have close to 5,000 members, 4,000 employees, 900 students, and we earn close to $200 million in research grants annually. We're led by Dr. Michael Dake, our Senior Vice President for Health Sciences. We'd like to stay informed and engaged with you, so please reach out to us, and you can find more information on us at uahs.arizona.edu. And please, I encourage you to follow me, CE Berger, on Twitter, and make sure you include a hashtag for Wellness Wednesdays AZ. Today, we hope this to be an interactive session for you. We invite you to leave a question in the chat session. We're going to make time after our presentation today, so we want to be sure to answer all the questions that you have. We will be following up with you with a post-session email, which will include a brief evaluation, as well as links to resources and recommendations from our presenter today. And I can tell you there's going to be a lot of good information is going to be coming your way today. We will also include a recording of this session, so feel free to share it with family and friends along the way. And now I'd like to introduce you and talk a little bit about our presentation today, something that's very timely for many of us. We're going to talk about the science of ergonomics, creating healthy bodies for productive minds. Ergonomics is the science of fitting any work environment to an individual. A matter of inches can make a big difference and can help alleviate a sore back, headaches, or tension in your body. Today, we're going to learn how to incorporate small but effective changes to make your home ergonomically sound, to improve your productivity and health for you and your children. I know that many of you, like myself, might be working from home, and this is a new environment. And I shared with our presenter today, Charity, all my different rounds of trying to make my office function here, and it's been quite comical at best. But anyway, we're very proud to have Charity Madrid-Torres with us, a health and safety specialist for the University of Arizona. Charity has more than 10 years of experience in the safety field. Her focus is on training and working with individuals to ensure they have a harm-free and healthy life. She believes that safety is a way of life. So please join me in welcoming Charity.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. Let me see, we got to share my screen here. We good? Okay. Well, thank you, Carolyn, for that introduction. Today we are going to be going over ergonomics at home, and as Carolyn mentioned, that is a situation a lot of us find ourselves in, or some of you may also find where your children are not home doing schoolwork, or they were now that summer's passed. Some of them still may be in the next coming school year, depending on how things continue to move on in our current situations that we are in. So I am very honored to be able to bring to you this subject today and talk to you, and hopefully be able to, if not answer some questions, provide some solutions for things that you're probably already starting to experience. As Carolyn mentioned, ergonomics is something that we look at for our environment, and it's fitting our environment to us, not ourselves to our environment. So just a quick, I always like to do this when I do a training. We're talking about ergonomics. So what is ergonomics? It's the study of people's efficiency in their working environment. And so some of you may find that as you have worked from home, or even in your offices, if you're not ergonomically set up correctly, you start to feel headaches, or you start to get headaches, your lower back starts to ache, your shoulders start to ache and start to knot up in the muscles, even your legs down to your arms and your wrists start to hurt, and that really starts to decrease your efficiency. So today we're going to try and give you some information and some resources so that you're able to start to work more efficiently and, more importantly, feel better. Again, my belief is everyone should have a harm-free work experience, and that includes working from home. So it really is a matter of inches. I know Carolyn mentioned this already, and it is a belief of mine, and you can, if you were to look up ergonomics, you'd see that ergonomics is a matter of inches. So the reason why we say this is I don't want you to think that you would have to go out and buy all this equipment, all these fancy things, a nice fancy chair, ergonomic chair, a desk. Those things certainly do help. However, most of us are not in a situation where we may be able to get that, or some of us can't afford it. Whatever the case may be, I want you to understand that you can make small changes, or you can make very small adjustments that will make all the difference for you. And so we're going to go in next to all those little small adjustments that you can make without having to buy anything that was labeled ergonomic per se, or bringing in new furniture into your home. And most of us are in temporary situations, so we don't plan on doing that anyways in the near future. So let's talk about these adjustments that you can make. And the first one is going to be adjusting how you sit. Now, how you sit is responsible for many of the complaints I hear, and in my experience is usually the lower back pain, the shoulder pain. For those of you that are women, we tend to carry all of our stress in our shoulders. And so when we're not sitting correctly, or we're not supported by our chairs, we tend to start to gain all that stress right here. And so our necks start to hurt, we start to bend forward. And as we do that, we gain headaches. We can even have a neck sprain, or strain rather, and our shoulders start to hurt, our lower back starts to hurt. And so we need to adjust how we sit. And here's some very simple adjustments that you can make without having a fancy chair. First of all, you want to make sure that you can adjust yourself so that your feet are flat on the ground. Now, for some of you, or like me, I'm vertically challenged, so not reaching the ground isn't always something that happens for me. But you can change this very quickly. For those of you who might have a box, I know a lot of us might be bringing in, ordering stuff from Amazon. Right now, if you could see me, I have my laptop set up on a Chewy box for the pet food that we've had to order. So you can take one of those boxes and place it under your feet. The goal here is to have your knees and your legs in at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so if your feet can be flat on the floor, or it can be flat on another surface or a box that you have, anything that you can do, that's going to be key. The other thing is that you want to make sure that you're sitting back in your chair. Now, if you can't have let's say your chair is a little bit bigger and you can't sit with your feet flat on the floor, you can do certain things to make sure that you can adjust that. And a lot of times it's something simple as using a pillow. Put a pillow behind you. If you have a couch pillow or a pillow from your bed, put that pillow, slide it behind you so that it's supporting your back. If you can, and you have a chair that has a full backrest, lean back in that and make sure that you're actually fully supported from your shoulders all the way down to your lower back. Okay, that's very key for you when you're sitting. I can guarantee you, if you're to do that and you have a chair that can support your shoulders as well, you will have a lot more support. So right now, when you're sitting, you want to think of, what can I do to support? The ground supports your feet, and the back of the chair supports your back, and your head needs to come back up. Okay, we'll talk about how to make those other adjustments right now. And that's in your work area. Okay, your work area adjustments, or how you lay out your work area, is going to be key. Again, minimal adjustments. Don't overthink this. These things should be very simple. Okay. Your work area, first of all, you want to set your work area up to where you have only those things that you are constantly using. So more than likely your laptop, or if you have a keyboard, which is even better, that you can attach to your laptop, and your mouse, if you can have those are the things that should be right in front of you, because you're constantly using it. Anything that you're consistently using throughout the day, throughout your work day, needs to be right in this green area that you see right here, right in front of you. For those things that you use every now and again, that can go into your secondary working zone. So you have 2 working zones, a secondary and a primary. Anything else should be on your non-working zone. You should not be reaching for those things on throughout the day. And if you are reaching for them, it's probably best if you stand up instead of trying to reach out all the time. But again, you want to make sure that anything that's in the non-working zone are things that you do not use all the time. Okay, so think about, where are my things laid out, whether it's your dining room table, whether it's a living room table, wherever you're at, look at your work zone and look at what you have in your space and how much you're reaching for, okay? Your keyboard placement, if you do have a keyboard. This is a popular one, especially when we go into people's offices. The first thing I look at is whether or not they have those kickstands up on their keyboard. Believe it or not, that's the most common problem that we find, especially for your wrists. If you do have a keyboard with kickstands, please take those kickstands down so that your keyboard is flat. Okay, you want your wrists not to be straight. You don't want them to be bent backwards or forwards. Okay, if they do go a little down, that's fine. We want them to be safe. So as you can see in this picture here, you've got the 3 incorrect placements up on top and you have the correct placements on the bottom. Now, I recognize that this keyboard that's showing here is one of those, what's considered an ergonomic keyboard. You do not need that. This just happens to be an example. Do not think you have to go out and buy this type of keyboard. Just make sure that your wrists are straight. And sometimes what this means is that you have to be level with your working surface, okay? You don't need armrests. You just need to have your arms at level. If you have a mouse, you should not be way away from your body. You want to be what we call in your neutral zone, okay? So if you were to just hang your arms down on the side, they naturally hang down on the sides of your body, okay? If you bring those up, you want to still keep your elbows in as close to your body as possible. You want to keep your wrists and your hands in as close to your body as possible. So you should not be stretching out. When you're stretching out, that's when you start to create areas of pressure. And that starts to create pain in your arms and your shoulders. And eventually, sometimes it can go down to your spine, and it can also hurt your back, but mostly it's going to hurt your shoulders and you're going to feel some strain and pain in your arms. So bring your arms back in. Make sure that your mouse and your keyboard are close to you so that you're not reaching far out for it. And bring that in as close as possible, okay? Now, a lot of times, this is what we probably all look like, right? We're hunched over our computer, or we're hunched over especially our laptops. If you have a laptop and you're hunched over, bring your laptop up. For those of you who like to sit on your couch, put another pillow underneath your laptop, okay? Put a couple of books underneath your laptop. You want to raise it to where it's eye level. You should not be having to move your neck up or down to be reading. You should be able to look just straight ahead like I am now, right into the screen, or as you can notice, Carolyn is looking straight into her screen. We're not looking down or we're not looking up, we're looking straight ahead. And that's where you want to be, with your shoulders back against the chair, resting and looking straight ahead. Another tidbit for you is your screen should be out at about arm's length, or maybe 1.5 inches, plus or minus that. So if you pull your arms out full and your screen is in front of your fingertips, that's too close. If your screen is in the back or further out, you need to bring it in. So if it's further out or it's closer in, make sure that you can have it within arm's length, okay? Habit adjustments. Now, these are key. Most people don't think of ergonomics as some of their habits, but let's talk about those because that can really help you. If you're in the car, a lot of us find ourselves still in the car. There's a correct way to sit. Still, always full back with your shoulders supported. And for those of you who carry a wallet in your back pocket, please remove that. That can misalign you. And so even if you are in the workplace, if you're misaligned because of that wallet that you sit on or anything else, that's really harming you. You want to stand with the straight posture, shoulders back, chest out, okay, hips in. When you're sleeping, if you sleep on your back or you sleep on your side, align yourselves with pillows. This again helps align your spine, and it helps prevent those injuries while you're resting. And speaking of sleep, you should be getting 8 hours of sleep a day. I know most of us have a lot of our mind right now, but 8 hours is something that we really should target. Or getting some good sleep. That has a lot to do with your body and whether or not it can continue to take the abuse that we put it through every day or the things that we're going through on a daily basis. Speaking of which, I do this every time I teach an ergonomics class. I give people, I can't give you one, but I give everybody a paper clip. So if you have a paper clip near you, grab it. If you don't, do this little experiment with me. Take a paper clip and straighten it out, or put it in the shape of a box. Do whatever you need to do, but move it out of its original shape. Now, I want you to try, after you've done that, to put your paper clip back into the original state. It's nearly impossible. And what this is showing is that when you start to really mistreat your body, it's harder and harder for it to get back to 100%, okay? And this also includes the older we get, the longer it takes for us to get it at 100%. So these habits that we're going to talk about very quickly are some things that we can do to keep our body in that shape. And the first thing is doing some stretches, okay? So we have here some chair yoga. I do want to say this. Before you do any stretches, if you have any concerns, you should probably reach out to your doctor, your physician. They may give you certain stretches that they want you to do, or if you're seeing anybody else, a chiropractor, I would say, you know, listen to them. But here are some things that you can do very, very quickly in your own chair. And you should be stretching every 30 to 45 minutes. I know that sounds a lot, but it doesn't take a lot to do all of these exercises. In fact, if you were to do all these exercises, it'll take you about 2 minutes, and then you're back to your job, okay? So every 30 minutes or 45 minutes of work, please get up and stretch and do stretches. The other thing that you want to be looking at is your diet and how much water you're taking in. Are you drinking enough water? Do you have a healthy diet? This again goes back to when your body is starting to heal when you're sleeping. This nutrition and water helps that, okay? It helps keep your muscles nice and stretchy. Take a walk, okay? Clear your mind. Take a walk with your children. I know it's really hot outside, so we'll come up with other things, but try and walk around. You should not be sitting, your body was not made to be sitting for 8 hours straight, or even 2 to 3 hours straight. So that's why every 30 minutes you should be getting up and doing some exercises. If you can ride your bike. Sometimes it's too hot, so do some chores. You know, now's the time when we're at home, we have some flexibility to do some things. Do some chores, do some laundry, do some other things, get up, move around, talk to your kids or whatnot, help them with homework, but do other exercises instead of sitting in front of a computer. And lastly, we really want you to focus on your mental health as well, okay? When I used to have a few people reporting to me, I had what was called the Starbucks moment, and that was where for an hour every week I had them go and think about anything else but work, okay? Think about anything else other than what's going on right now. Try to clear your mind. Do whatever, if you have hobbies or you meditate or whatever that may be. Keep in mind that this also is very important for your efficiency in your workplace and in your life, okay? Because this is not all about work, it's about how you live your life as well. So I want to thank you for that. I know we went through this very quickly, but we have a certain amount of time. Usually I have an hour to talk or two. So I apologize if I went over a little bit, Carolyn, but I want to thank you for your time and for listening. Hopefully we were able to help you. And if not, does anybody have any questions?
We do have one. How does ergonomics affect work productivity?
Well, ergonomics affects work productivity. So if you're not in an ergonomic situation or you're not in an ergonomic setup, your body starts to break down. Sitting too long, you create tension, and that creates headaches. You're not able to pay attention for as long, or you're in pain. So when your body is in pain, you're not mentally focused or you're not paying attention. You're not going to be effective in your workplace because of what pain can do. It also adds stress to your body. And when you're stressed in your body, your mental capabilities or your capacity starts to diminish. So keeping yourself ergonomic, keeping yourself moving, and keeping yourself healthy are things that help you make you more effective in your workplace. I hope that answers that.
Yes, thank you. Can you talk about standing up versus sitting down for working?
Sit down, stand up is completely at your comfort level, okay? If you are going to stand up for longer periods of time, one of the things we do say is try and get a mat that goes underneath you to support your feet. We're not meant to sit and stand for hours at a time either, so it's really at your comfort level. I have people in our office who prefer to stand a majority part of their day, others who prefer to sit. we all have an ergonomic setup, and so it's built for that either way. If you do choose to stand, again, your computer, everything needs to be at level. The same rules apply. It's just that you're standing. You don't have to worry about the 90-degree angle for your legs, but you do with your arms. Okay, and you still do with your head looking straight on. So make sure your monitor is still adjusted even if you're standing.
Great. Any thoughts on trackpad versus a mouse?
So with the mouse and with trackpad, what you're looking at is trying to minimize excess movement, if you will. So if you have a mouse that has a tracker ball on that, that's more, we'd prefer that, or that's better ergonomically for you, because you're using your thumb or a finger and you can build muscle for that. You're not straining or in a certain position. If you're using a trackpad, that's pretty much the same thing. Just make sure that you're not, again, hunched in, because a lot of times when we have a trackpad, we tend to hunch and come in this way. So I still prefer the mouse, but right now I'm in a situation where I only have a trackpad too. So that's what I'm using.
Okay. What are your thoughts about sitting on a yoga ball instead of a chair?
We actually do not recommend sitting on a yoga ball for a very long time. It's okay to do that for 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. I would say 15 minutes max, and that's because of the injuries that you can sustain if you do not have a strong core, or if that's not something you're used to, or if the ball moves and you're not prepared for it. That could cause some serious injury to yourself or to you. Yoga balls are great, or yeah, I call them the big yoga balls. They're great for a few minutes at a time. I would not have that be your full sitting situation, especially because your back is not supported.
Very good. Other recommendations for relieving lower back pain?
Stretches. If we go back to the stretch page, I know, Carolyn, am I okay to do that?
Sure.
Let's go through right here. This forward bend, that is amazing. You can even stand up and do a forward bend. Please remember, do not lock your knees. Give a little bend to your knees, but that forward bend really, really helps a lot to stretch those muscles along your spine. You have to think your muscles are supporting your spine. Any of these stretches are things that are going to help your lower back. Again, making sure your lower back has that support. If, you know, we could go into a lot of creating a chair or having a chair that gives you complete support and even more minor adjustments. But because we're talking about at home, we know that not everybody has that capability. So for now, I would say do your stretches and do them every 30 minutes.
What about any recommendations for hand and wrist stretches?
Hand and wrist stretches, you could do those. I can actually, Carolyn, I'll have to send it to you a little bit later. We can do some hand and wrist stretches. You've got to be careful with that. You can actually also Google it or ask your physician or chiropractor, but a lot of times people do things like this or like this. I know that's probably not very visible if you're watching, but you can do stretches. You can see this, there's the shoulder stretch that you're coming up over, and you can come out and do those types of stretches. But I would say, yeah, you definitely need to stretch your arms as well.
Okay. How should I best set up my laptop to ensure I'm in a good position?
Your laptop setting, that's a great question. And we actually do have a video very specific to that Carolyn's going to be sending out on how to set your laptop up. More than likely, your laptop is not going to be at your height unless you're at a very high table. So you're going to have to bring that up. If you can get a keyboard for it, that would be great. If not, you have to keep the laptop to maybe not as high as your eyes, but so you can also keep your arms straight. I would suggest putting a couple books underneath it or a box, something that'll bring it up to height so that you're not hunching over it. Even a pillow, if you're going to sit on the couch for the day, I've done that. Just put a couple pillows under it so that you're supporting it and you're bringing it up and you're not hunching yourself down.
Good advice. Here's a good one. How do I get my kids to follow these guidelines?
Lots of candy. I'm just kidding. No candy. I think you have to adjust their environment for them. You can place, the box underneath their feet. You can maybe even have them help you pick out the materials that they want to use. They're probably using a laptop, so they'll probably need a couple of books underneath that laptop. I would also entice them with the every 30 minutes they get to do a little playtime. You know, some stretches with you, something, eat a healthy snack. I'm sure they don't want to do a chore with you after 30 minutes, but I would engage them by using the every 30 minutes or every 45 minutes, we're going to do something fun.
Okay. Well, we have time for one more question.
Okay.
What is the benefit of having straight wrists when typing?
The benefit of keeping your wrist straight is that you're not bending or putting pressure on this point or this point. That's where a lot of times the wrists, if they're not kept straight, we start to see the issues down the road. The thing with ergonomics is when you start to see the breakdown, it's usually after 15, 20 years. So it seems like it's not going to happen, but that's where we start to see carpal tunnel come in. We see a lot of wrist strain that comes up the arms. We have elbow tendinitis that starts to happen. So keeping the wrist straight or keeping what we call the wrist neutral alleviates that type of pain and alleviates those types of injuries.
Very good. Okay. And now, if you'd like to stop sharing your screen, we'll talk about, thank you very much. This has been very informational. We've been getting lots of great questions. We will make sure that we include this information on the post follow-up email. And then we would also like to invite everyone to join us next Wednesday for Dr. Lisa Kaiser, who's going to talk about the wonders of the microbiome, how to improve your immune system through your gut. You know, we're hearing a lot these days about the importance of hand washing and also about keeping your immune system healthy. And we're going to start, it's going to be a two-part series, and we're going to start that discussion next week. So we invite you to join us for some great information. So on behalf of my colleagues, thank you so much for joining us. Please feel free to reach out to us. We welcome all of your recommendations, your questions, and any concerns that you may have. And please stay healthy and stay well. Take care.